Guys, we're in Rhode Island and we are back for a couple updates. It's been a couple weeks. So we want to update you as to where we're at on this project. We did get this site wall placed from our last episode, and we'll show you guys around on how we're dealing with the downspouts. So around the entire house, we have our drainage that basically collects all of the site water from our gutters. And that goes into a custom fabricated downspout here. This is aluminum, actually powder coated to match our shown windows, down to our corrugated black pipe. Now what we wanted to do is we wanted to get this low enough where our grade, our finish grade, is going to basically flush out with this. In most of these locations, you're going to have grass kind of built up to it, or even in a mulch bed. So a couple things with that. We have this cap here that has the 3x3 aluminum, or a 3x3 cutout for the aluminum downspout to go into, to prevent any dirt and debris from getting down into the drainage system, because we don't want to have that fill up with dirt and then over time cause drainage issues. We can also come back here and seal it, but my point is the elevation is right at finished grade, so all you see is this really nice aluminum downspout tying into something that will be at grade. Now, I want to point out that we did make a mistake here, and this was something that we are going to come back. This right now is kind of a traditional downspout where it comes below the soffit. We're actually going to be refabricating this top piece. It's going to be buried up in the soffit, and that's why that soffit material isn't installed. So it's going to come down, run in the soffit, and then straight down. If you look over here, you can actually kind of see what that looks like. So on the front of the house, we're coming out directly out from the soffit. Our gutter, if you remember in a previous episode, is behind that drip cap, and it's straight down. And it really kind of lends itself to being that more intentional, well thought out detail where it's a nice straight line. You can see down in that corner as well. It's a nice straight line. So what have we been up to in the last few weeks? Well, we have our concrete pad situated here, which is separate from the driveway, but will be the future staircase that goes down into the site. We also had our site guy here bringing in fill and prepping for our rough grade, as I would call it, in preparation for future topsoil, and then of course grass. And then down here we have our pad set for our condensers. So they're 2 air source heat pumps. So we are prepped and ready for them to come back and set those. All the electrical junction boxes are prepped and ready. Line sets are sticking out. So we'll get those situated. As we work our way around, we have our site wall installed. So what this site wall is doing is essentially holding our elevation change from the front yard to the backyard. You can see it's been formed in steps. This will eventually get these pavers on top of this concrete wall that lead up, step, 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 all the way up here to another landing. We're at the about the grade for the front yard. And what you see here is a staircase. So Julia and her brother actually framed this staircase, and it's tying what will be the final condition here up to the wood deck. So obviously the cinder blocks are very temporary. This staircase gets built up with pavers. So we got to work through the detailing as far as the paver height and the wood framing, but this will get wood decking tying up into the wood decking that surrounds that glass wall, a stainless handrail that goes around the entire deck. You might be asking, well, why is there still a tarp? That is really why we haven't had many updates on this project. The doors and windows that were manufactured incorrectly coming from overseas have continued to be a delay for us. And it's holding up a lot of things. So if you look above me, we still have to shingle the end of this gable. For us as a builder, and making sure that we're, respective of our trade partners' schedule, we don't want to bring them out just for that when we know that they have to do the inside corner and tie it back into these final conditions when the glass is installed. So I believe I do have a date on that glass, and it's coming up here shortly. So I'm wishful that this stuff is going to come in, and we're going to be able to put those in, finalize that, and what that's going to do is it's going to put us in a position where we can get this home weather tight. All of our rough mechanical, plumbing, electrical signed off, our rough building signed off, and then finish up the exterior. And at that point, there's going to be this kind of pause where we're going to sit back down with Julia and figure out, all right, we've got to that point, we've got through rough inspection, the exterior is done, and then from there we go into what we can call phase 2, is basically finishing out the inside. But right now the biggest priority for us is to make sure that we're not exhausting our trade partners' time or being inefficient with time. So that glass is absolutely imperative to that process to make sure that we're working efficiently. So hopefully that answers some of your questions as to, hey, what's going on with the updates in Rhode Island? We're waiting on the glass, and when that stuff comes in, we'll be sure to capture that and then update you guys with wrapping up phase 1.